She's got
The
the
white.
yellow mic.
Yellow.
Yellow? Go ahead.
Okay.
Test, test, test.
Okay.
Test, test, test.
And the second mic?
Green.
Is green?
Green.
Okay.
Check one,
Maybe just pull it out.
check one, check, check. Check.
Here, I think you better. For some reason, it's very.
Check one, check two,
We got
check.
the game cranked.
Check,
so-
check, check.
Oh, that's good.
It's working, it's
Okay, we're going to call this meeting to order. And I don't really have anything to bring to the table right now, but John wanted to bring up something. John,
Can you remind me what it is?
About the scroll.
about the scroll?
Billy might have ideas about the
Oh,
scroll.
order.
I
We
called
are
it.
all about orders.
Here, take a mic, Billy.
I take a new mic. I take a micro dose.
Is he in the
Yeah.
shot?
You have the wrong.
No, I don't want to be on the shot.
He doesn't want to be on the shot. He's kind of.
I will be
in front
heard,
of
on not seen.
Okay.
I had the
Because I work
idea.
for Donaldo Trampolini and we must have order.
What are you on? You have it wrong.
It's permanent.
Okay,
You take it once and you're deranged for life.
John wants to say something.
I had the idea, since we can't get the town to supply us with a scroll, to, excuse me, we can make a scroll up ourselves. We can get the information from Ellen about the programming, the programmers, the people who have programs, and put those on a poster board type thing, or 2 poster boards. And
I'm on the poster.
and then we can make a DVD of that, and or 2 DVDs of that with other stuff mixed in with it, and put it on the carousel. Put 2 of them on the carousel and run them. Get Ellen to run them all the time, regardless of whether there's a program or not. And then there's enough saturation there so that everybody knows what is on Channel 23, and they can watch more shows if they want to.
Aye, we've always had a carousel. Aye.
Okay.
I agree.
And
Second
so,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll second it. And you want to volunteer to do that?
I won't volunteer to do the whole thing, but I would like some help. I'll do part of it.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
My only comment is I think sooner or later we got to talk about the elephant in the room, and that is that the town board and the library are not public access channels. If they want to turn in shows as individuals, say Carrie Muldoon, who's the supervisor's secretary, she can turn it in just like any of us, where you sign something, and that way you're the person that's responsible for it in case of any future litigation with the library or the town board. We certainly don't want it to come back on this board. I mean, most of us are fairly judgment-proof because of our financial condition. But even so, I'd like to move this board in the direction of being really squeaky clean and pristine. So by the laws and the rules that Joe and I have looked at, the various agreements that were made since the Cable Act of 1984, PEG means Public Education and Government. And I think even as we transition to the internet, there's real nobility in that legacy. So that's my 2 cents on that. But otherwise, I think that's a great idea because the public would be better served if they knew what to expect.
I think the town board meetings would have to be on there, because that's part of the reason that the town keeps the station hanging around.
Well, I think that needs to be challenged.
Yeah, me too.
Well, we could call it TB meeting or something like that, or rerun.
No, my point is whoever wants to turn it in, let them turn it in with their name. Let them take liability. Otherwise, we've seen too much barratry. Barratry means purporting to litigate without the consequences of litigation. And we've had one board member for a while who's been through horrible litigation, where on one hand the town wanted to claim through residency intellectual property, but at the same time throwing the onus and the burden of any slander onto the shoulders of a producer. So that's my only caveat, that it's probably too much for this kind of show, but I do want to do more shows on law where I elaborate on that. And just for right now, I think it's a great idea. I think for the public who wants to see town board meetings, they should go to the government channel. That's what a government channel is for. It was all set up with Time Warner. All of the paperwork's there. Joe and I have pored over probably hundreds of pages. You know, it was given to us in a crate load by Dee Dee Halleck before Dee Dee Halleck decided to throw us under the bus on her federal case, and we just found out that federal judges don't even have oaths of office, which means that this public channel is extremely important for the peace and well-being of the community. And on our frail and elder, but, you know, hopefully wise and experienced shoulders, is falling a grave responsibility of world peace. It's like you said in one of your emails. It's a big deal what we're doing, and we shouldn't be easily putting forward knowledge that we haven't checked out. So I always say, this is what I believe to the best of my ability. When I say sign oaths, I always say under the pain and penalty of perjury. This is true to the best of my knowledge. And so I'm just saying, to the best of my knowledge, I think the public should be served. They haven't been served with no scroll for so long. It's all a catch-can thing. Sometimes you've got bars up. Fortunately, right now, our signal's going out, but I truly think it's because the squeaky wheels get attention. And Fanny was doing something, and there were bars, and so I threw Fanny's thing on, and there was no sound going out. Also, Dave Menzies, there was no sound. His sound was abysmal, and I suspected it was from Skype. So it's not just like we're looking after our little shows. We're trying, when we sit as a board, we think for the well-being and the free speech of everyone. And I just see too much potential for the town and even the library in the future to horn in on what is a public channel. And I have had my DVDs bumped because there wasn't enough time, because a town board had to be in there. And the logic was just not there, because it said, well, they don't get their own channel until the public channel's filled. Well, like, it's filled. You're bumping me, it's filled. So there's too much presumption that the town runs this when there's no paperwork, no litigation, no charter, no mission statement, and only hearsay about an agreement that Bill McKenna signed with Spectrum. I got good news too
And
later.
the rules say that the town is not supposed to be running this. The town is not supposed to oversee this. They were supposed to appoint an entity, and since they didn't, we as a board of directors, we assumed that responsibility. We voted on it, and we said, we're going to take control of the operation of this studio. And the town has not disputed that. Therefore, at this point in time, we run this studio, not the town. Did you want to say something?
Aye.
Yeah,
Here.
I'm thinking that having a scroll, or at least a posting, a static posting like that of our programming, I think helps identify also the parties of interest of this TV studio. And that would also show, the scroll would also show the town board meetings and library meetings, if they are continued to be posted on the public access channel when they should be on their own. And the other, you know, like I brought up earlier, you know, original content should take priority over rebroadcasts of syndicated material. And when syndicated material is being rebroadcast, be it Democracy Now! Or even a rock and roll show, or even one of my Indian shows or something, if I were to put it up, you know, I would expect that there would be commentary from the producer, because this is what makes it relevant to our community. You know, so if it's just becoming, and I do take issue with it, if it just becomes another venue for Democracy Now!, this is not the Democracy Now! Channel. But if Democracy Now! Has a topic that is important to our community, then comment on it, you know, to make the fair use. Otherwise, Democracy Now! Is getting a unfair use of our bandwidth. And that's you know, and I'm just using that one as an example because it's pertinent. But any syndicated show is syndicated for a reason. Let's see. We're ghosting them, right? Hosting, yes, hosting,
Hosting, coasting, should have been mosting.
I guess, you know, that's what this scroll, I think, will help really organize and put form and function to the programming here. That's my supportive word.
And as far as the library, I do think that I don't mind that the library put stuff up on this channel, because that is for the community. But I think that the town board thing, you know, the town is supposed to have a government channel, and they should push for their government channel so that they can put this up. And I don't think that the politicians, Vaso or all these others, that they play their videos. I don't think that we should have the politicians on this, since this is supposed to be a government channel, and the town should push for their government channel. If they haven't negotiated with Spectrum for that, then that's not our fault. That's their fault. You want to?
Hey, wait a minute.
That's a good point.
Hey, wait a minute. Our channel. Hello.
Do you want to pull it over to Billy?
No, I'm on. I can see it. First off, I want to congratulate the brothers and sisters for representing the original spirit of the Time Warner Charter from friendlier times, when the corporation wasn't besieged by whatever mysterious pressure is making corporations evil. But if we're and in that light, I think that Spectrum is not likely to make any more channels unless they dilute our 23, it used to be, by splitting up 5 ways instead of 4.
Well,
How you like them apples, huh?
oh, you want to say something? Go ahead.
You mean public education, government, and religion?
No.
Yeah, well, right. And then if you
It's
had,
only public education and government
yeah, but
in
if
the
you had
old
5
paperwork. we
splits,
looked at.
we would have even less HD quality.
Well, let the audience choose, but don't be bumping off the
Well,
actual
I'm
authentic
saying,
voices.
Ain't nobody gonna do that stuff anymore, because
It's called.
Time Warner was under pressure just like anybody in the universe.
Which is why they're answering Joe. He got an answer from the
Well, yeah,
secretary
they're
of
intelligent people.
the.
That's why I think you are like me, a volunteer.
Can you hear?
Of time
I'm
war-
not a volunteer.
Oh, no, but you have the intelligence that represents where they were coming from when they had all the power to be coming from anywhere.
The power actually comes from the original content creators. What drives traffic is content
you are
that
in
people
that
want to
spirit.
see. Okay, Joe,
Okay,
John, you go on.
I wanted to say that traditionally on this channel, or on the public access channel in Woodstock, the reason the politics...
Can you crank John more? He seems a little.
The reason the
Yeah,
politics
that's it. He's
is
green.
on this channel,
Max.
in addition to the producers' productions, is that it's a small town, and we can't really handle 2 stations. Now that's the reason for 30 years or so that we have used, and I really see the sense in that, because running a second channel will cost money, and I'm a taxpayer. I don't want my taxes to go to that.
No, you don't understand bandwidth. It has to do with digital. It's not analog.
On the internet, it wouldn't cost that
Yeah.
much.
Wait a minute. And Time Warner Cable is obligated, or Spectrum now, is obligated to provide, it's called PEG, public access, educational, and political or government, right? So it's not like the town would have to pay more. All they have to do is say, in part of the contract, when they have a contract, to let them come in and say, we want public access, we want educational, and we want government. Now, they have the educational channel, that's over at Onteora. So all the town has to do is say, you are supposed to supply, which they're supposed to supply, a government channel. It wouldn't cost the town any more as far as cost.
Great. Can we move on?
Yeah,
Okay.
In
Now,
high school, they already have TriCaster. They got it years ago.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, we got an email. This was passed to me from Ellen, from a lady at the Bethlehem Public Library in Del Mar, New York. Hi, what are your hours? May I call you? Do you have info on submitting programming I can access? We are a public access station in Del Mar, New York. Best, Janice. So all these issues that George brought up about syndicated programming and so on, I'm very eager to work with Janice Irwin on this. But I want to say that this was sent to info@woodstocktv.org, and it was passed to me via Ellen. However, the last time something came in from woodstocktv.org was Bill Flegging, and Bill Flegging is the one who owns woodstocktv.org, and Joe sent him a very nice email asking him if he would give us the name woodstocktv.org, and there's no answer. So because we're legal beagle types and we look at all of the I's and dotting the I's and crossing the T's, it's very important what the chain of command is. Rich Spool gave George the password to the computer, but there's no reason in beating up on Fanny because even Fanny cannot make her YouTubes full screen. So the question is, who is controlling, who makes professional programming? You can't do a decent show when you've got all that internet garbage on the side. It's going to be poo-pooed by the viewer, and there's no reason that we can't address this if we know what the chain of command is. When Rich Spool was called by me and Joe an agent provocateur and we gave a cease and desist to the town, he turned his key into Jeremy Wilbur. So we know who he was taking orders from. It was Jeremy Wilbur. And Joe showed all of this to Clayton Keefe, the chief of police, who said he's keeping his men out of it between us and the town board. But who is turning over that? We don't have access to the closet. We don't have proper access to the computer. And when Spectrum technicians come out here, they're completely befuddled and bewildered, and we definitely know we have two modems. Both of them have an address to this address, and one of them is the town of Woodstock. This is not the town of Woodstock. This is the Woodstock TV producers. So now, along the line of the government channel,
And
here.
you gotta excuse the progeny of my brother, Harry. He thinks he's like a federale.
Okay. Now here's a petition to the Woodstock Town Board. Now here's an example of how you could have a robust government channel. I'm not saying I wouldn't participate in a government channel, but the whole idea is for transparency. So here's something that Ellen passed to me. Petition to the Woodstock Town Board. A sanctuary town is welcoming and inclusive, valuing immigrants and diversity. It is committed to upholding and protecting the human and civil rights of all individuals within the town, regardless of race, religion, immigration status, or national origin. A sanctuary town government, a sanctuary town police department, and a sanctuary town social services do not inquire into the immigration status of individuals. Federal law does not require local law enforcement or other local service providers to inquire into an individual's immigration status or to respond to federal immigration and customs enforcement, ICE, detainer requests, so that the above principles are not inconsistent with federal law. So that seems to, imply about federal funding. There's many, many, many things in this, and this merits an entire panel discussion, because even what we've discovered, that federal judges don't have oaths of office, is very unnerving when people are counting on courts to settle important issues, which means to me that we really are in times of free falling apart of infrastructure and institutions that we've counted on, and it's best to invest in ourselves. That's my final comment.
That's because you are the new government.
Do you have something?
Yeah, anyone intelligent enough to rule when there's a sheep salesman on the throne.
Okay, George has no more to say. He needs to get back to the thing, and I think we've pretty much covered what we need to cover. So I'd like to close this meeting. Anybody want to second that?
I would like to say something about the sanctuary thing. We live in a free country, and any immigrant who has come to this country is welcome to come to Woodstock, and Woodstock has always treated immigrants in a very nice way, maybe giving them lower jobs, that's a possibility, but it's only because of their qualifications. Woodstock has never rejected any immigrants, and this the word sanctuary, I'm just confused about what that means, because we already have sanctuary.
Well,
We have repositoriness. We are a repository of radicals
how
and artist types.
But Billy, how about you and John create some original content? I just want
We just
original
did.
content. That's all I'm looking for.
That's
I don't
this
care what
whole
you
meeting
think.
was of original content. This is the most.
Yes, of course.
This
Of
is the
course.
most democratic thing I've heard in years.
Great. I'm glad you showed up, Billy. We missed you.
Okay, we've pretty
Me
much covered it.
too.
You done,
Yeah,
John?
good.
Okay,
Thank you.
I move to close the meeting. Anybody second it? Okay. Okay, we're going to adjourn. We're going to adjourn this meeting.
Thank you.
Goodbye, people in Woodstock.
Pizza.